Hello, welcome to Foam Rolling. It's Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. And as promised, I have a special guest. Malone is here.
How not to foam roll?
No. He is your everyday person on the street who, my mission is to introduce foam rolling to people in a way that is kind of doable and a slow kind of entry. The comparison I was thinking of earlier today was you have these people who like to jump into cold water, like the polar plunge people, and it invigorates them and they feel great. I don't want to do that because it would be a shock. So all that cold water immediately that I'm not used to would be horrible feeling to me. I think foam rolling is similar to that. If you've never done it and you jump into it full force, it's a shock to your body and it's a shock to your tissues. So what I want today to be is kind of a demonstration and a trial of working with Malone in the way he feels and modifying and looking at the quality of foam rolling and kind of ease him into it in a way that he can tolerate in the best way. And just remembering that everyone's bodies are different. Guys in particular, your tissues are oftentimes tighter, and pressure into those tissues you're a little more sensitive to. So we'll address this. So it's great if guys are watching this, totally valuable information.
We're in for the long haul, so grab a beer.
If there are any friends or relatives of Malone watching, send him some hearts, send him some prayers, send him some 2 thumbs up. And if my brother Chip Sloan is watching, double it up, because if you were here, you'd be on the floor with us. All right, so 2 kind of techniques we're going to use, and we're going to alternate back and forth between these 2 places. We're going to use the foam to set up in a bit of a positional stretch where you're just resting, you're not rolling, but you're putting your body into a place where tissues are gently opening and you're relaxing into that stretch. And then we'll do some traditional foam rolling, but looking at maybe some extra padding on the foam or looking at ways that we can make it a little bit less pressure as we go. So we're going to use, for Malone, we're going to use this long full-length foam, and this is solid surface. And then I may use this a little bit just to demonstrate or show him where we're going. This is just a half-length foam. They're both solid surface. And they have those foam rollers out there with all the pokes and the sharp edges and the contraptions. If you want to go for that, awesome. I think for the everyday person, you may do more harm on something like that than good, because it takes an incredible amount of tolerance to relax into that kind of intense pressure. All right? So we're going to start out by placing the foam roller long ways on the mat. And Malone's going to put his hips, his back, and his head on the length of the foam. Good. So scoot your hips down a little bit more on the foam. Yeah. And then slowly back. Okay, so we're starting out with no padding on that foam other than I have a little something behind the back of his head. Would you like your head a little bit higher up, or does it feel okay there?
Fine.
Good. All right. So just this position, starting out to get a feel for what that pressure is like and what that does to your back. His spine is supported on that round foam, and his shoulders are kind of coming off the sides of it. So what we're doing here is we're opening up his chest, we're opening up his rib cage, we're starting to get a stretch across the front of his body. And I'll tell you, for most guys, the front of your bodies are tight in particular. Okay, your pecs are usually you do a lot of maybe strengthening of the pecs and you get shorter and tighter in the front of the body. So you've got to stretch that back out for healthy tissues. Tissues that are healthy go both directions. They go stretch out and lengthen, and then they shorten. Yeah, you don't want only one direction, you want both to be balanced. So, how are you feeling right now?
Good.
Good? All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little more shoulder opening to this position. And I'm gonna use some blankets on either side of him and take his arms a little more out to the sides with his palms facing up. And this kind of direction is happening. So again, we're starting out with a positional stretch using this foam. You don't have to do anything but breathe and relax. And really, that's the kind of quality we're gonna go, whether we're using a positional stretch or a traditional roll on the foam. You want to relax into it. And if you can't relax into it, you're not gonna get any benefit from the foam rolling, okay? Couple more deep breaths right there. Good. One more position for the arms now. I have a bolster behind the back of your head. What you're going to do is you're going to cruise your arms up overhead and back. They might reach that bolster, they might not, but we're going for this overhead extension. There you go. All right, so what I've done is using the bolster, or you could use blankets at home. You're bringing that support surface a little bit higher up instead of having to reach way back to the floor. Okay, so some of you who are super flexible, a lot of ladies can do this no problem. You just hang there and your shoulders open way up, okay? But guys and ladies who are not that flexible, don't feel like you failed. You just modify it so you still get the same benefits of relaxing into a stretch safely. And I forgot to say just at the beginning as we started this class, I have Grace behind the camera. So if you have comments or if you have questions, this is kind of a conversational style live video. She can pass along your questions. I might have an answer, I might not, but you can throw them out there. Good. Slowly start to bring those arms all the way back down towards your sides. Okay, so you have your feet planted, and Malone already has his feet nice and wide. That's great. You've also got your palms on the surface of the floor. You're going to start a really slow rock side to side across the top of that foam. Again, you're going to go into this easy. You're not going to jump into the cold water with a full splash. You're going to start to go into movement just a little bit at a time so your body doesn't tense up and guard. Sounds like someone's bowling upstairs. Nice. How does that feel?
Good. So far, so good.
Deep breaths here, and remember as we go, I'll remember to cue those deep breaths when I think of it, but the more you can kind of slow down your breath, that will help everything relax you'll go into that relaxation side of your nervous system, okay? And your body will trust you. It'll say, okay, we can do this. This is soft, this is gentle, this is gradual, and that's what we want everything to be today. Good. So come back into that center position and just take a listen to your whole body and see how everything feels. Good. All right, so we're going to come off the top of this foam, just gently rolling forward onto the floor towards your side. And I'll move that out of your way. And you can just scoot your hips back to the middle of the mat. And this is going to come right for these. All right, so from this point forward, and even that first position, if you got on top of that foam and you're lying down backwards on it and it's too much pressure and it's hurting your back, then cover it with a blanket, any thickness of blanket, and you can build up the thickness until it's nice and comfortable and you're like, oh, okay, I can relax here. So as we go, every single position, the minute you feel like this is just hurting, I can't do it, that's when we pad, okay? So behind you is gonna be a little bit of lift for your hands and support for your hands, because we're going to roll out the calf muscles, and so you're going to be kind of supporting yourself, leaning back, using your upper body. We're going to start at the lower part of your calf muscles. So we're not at your ankles, we're just slightly above your ankles. Good. So starting this position, what I want you to do is just bounce your legs. Yeah. So you're going to start out by building that trust with your body, just a loose bounce, shaking everything out. And honestly, for the calf muscles and the hamstrings, if you don't tolerate the roll itself, this is great. Just bouncing out your tissues and loosening up your joints. Okay. So get your legs nice and heavy, and then we're going to start to roll in and then to roll out. So this is one of the few rolls that instead of going the length of the muscle, we're going to roll across it. And we're starting out at the mildest place of the muscle. Feel okay?
Good.
Good. For you at home, if you've been in class with me foam rolling, or if you're a fan of foam rolling and you do it regularly, this is where you have the option of crossing one foot over the other, and that puts a little more weight down through that lower calf muscle, a little more pressure into that foam, so you get a little more kind of push. And foam rolling is like, it's like getting a deep pressure massage, but you're in charge of pressure. So if someone's not doing it to you, you're in control of it. Nice. And just in terms of length of a roll in any particular place, if you're relaxed and you're getting kind of that really good quality that we're going for today, tissues are relaxing into that pressure, and instead of staying tense like this, they're starting just to open up and relax. You don't have to do it more than a minute. You know, about a minute is good. If you do anything too much or too long, you're gonna start to go towards the bad side of things. Excess is not good. All right, so now we're gonna crawl the foam up to the middle of the lower leg. Same thing to start here, an easy bounce out. And then get your legs nice and heavy. And start that same in and outward roll. So we're into some of the thicker part of the calf muscle now. It might be a little more tender. So take your time, there's no hurry. You want to feel like the weight of your legs are just dropping into that self-massage. Nice. All right, we've got one more location of the calf muscle, and this is going to be the thickest part of the muscle. It's the upper third. Yeah, right about there. Nice shake out to start with. Loosen everything up. And then let the legs get heavy, relax. And then start that in and out roll. Deep breaths as you go. Nice. All right, place your feet on the floor and let's just come off your wrists for a second and give them a little break. Any questions, Grace? No questions. Y'all have this. You've got it down. Grace, do you have any questions?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, so the next muscle group we're going for are the hamstrings. Large muscles behind the back of the thighs. So you have your roller. Again, you're going to be supporting yourself behind your back. You've got cushion underneath there, blankets, as many as you like. And you're going to push so that the backs of your thighs, right about the middle of the thigh, is resting on the foam. That's it. And staying nice and heavy, starting a little roll, the length of that muscle now. So from here on out, we're pretty much going to stay with the length of the muscle. Relaxing and dropping down into that foam as you go. Deep breaths. Doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so another option for this roll is you can cross one knee over the other. Again, drop down through that lower leg nice and heavy and roll with crossed legs, just like we did with the calf muscles. One more big roll. And then drop the hips down to the floor, bend the knees, and rest the wrists for a second. Good. Good, I'm going to flip around this way to show you where we're going next, so I'll be in the same direction as you. So, we're going to go for the glutes next. And in order to get the glutes, we're going to place the hips right on top of the foam. Good. Same thing behind you. If you need a little height to support yourself through the hands, you can place blankets back there. So your feet are flat on the floor, hands behind you on the floor. That's it. Nice. We're going to cross the right heel over the left knee. And then we're going to rotate the hips towards the right so that we're sitting on that right glute. And then we start a little forward and back roll here, relaxing as you go. And this is a tender spot for most people. So we're hitting your glutes, but we're hitting even deeper into that piriformis muscle, which is typically tight on most people. So this is one to take your time, going gradually and breathe deeply. hips and uncrossing that foot. Recenter the hips on the foam. Give your wrists a little break. All right, second side of the glutes. So we're crossing the left heel over the right knee, and then rotating over in that same left direction and rolling out on this side. And if you can't find a place that feels like, oh, that's a little bit tight, then shift your hips around until you find that spot. For a lot of people in this location, if you're super tender, roll close to it, but not right on it. And you're still helping that area. You're still releasing and stretching things out. So don't feel like you've got to find the pain and roll the pain. It's not necessary. Couple more deep breaths. Nice. All right, so now we can move that foam out from under the hips and sit right back down on the mat. Nice job. Good. Okay, so I would scoot your hips a little forward. Okay, and then we're going to recline onto your back, a little blanket behind the back of the head as you go. Nice, so we're going to go towards a little bit of a positional stretch again, for the hip flexors in particular, but also putting those hips into a position of a supported bridge. So anytime you are in the middle of your foam rolling and you might feel yourself tense up and you're not relaxing, go towards one of these positional stretches and kind of unwind and reset yourself towards relaxation. So I want you to float your hips up just enough to get this foam underneath the back of the pelvis, okay? Good, and you can hold it with your hands to make sure it doesn't slide out. Take some deep breaths right here. So just in terms of general relaxation, if you can get yourself here either on the foam or on a big bolster or with blankets under your hips, this is a great restorative pose just to slow everything down and relax. All right. So from here, I want you to ease your right knee in towards your chest. Nice. And if you need to adjust this foam at any point, you can. We're going to hold on to that knee with both hands and then start to send that other foot out long. And here's your hip flexor stretch where that leg's just hanging in the air. Take some deep breaths. Good. Slowly bending that left knee into your chest. We're going to switch out sides so that you're holding the other knee while the right leg stretches out. Relax right here. And there's no rule about if you have to have this knee straight. If you want to put some bend into that long leg, that's totally fine. Two more deep breaths on this side. Nice. Bend the right knee in towards your chest. Good. Now we're going to float both feet up in the air and just hang out here in this inversion. This is like legs up on the wall for you yoga restorative people. This is another one of those go-to relaxation poses. Plus, with your feet in this much elevation, all the fluid is being drained out of your legs. You're helping your lymphatic system out, your immune system out. Hooray! Awesome. All right, slowly bend your knees. Give the knees one more hug towards your chest. And then one at a time, lower your feet back down to the mat. Nice and soft. Excellent. And then floating your hips up just enough so that we can send that foam away and relax all the way down. Very good. You feeling okay? Okay, let's rock the knees a little bit side to side. Just check in with the back. Keep things loose and open. And back towards center. Good. All right, so rolling onto your left side, we're gonna make our way towards hands and knees next with the foam underneath us. So hands in front of you on the mat. We're going to take a little bit of time just to kind of hang out here on hands and knees and relax the spine. So any kind of movement that feels good, relax into your shoulders. You can rock this a little side to side. You can go into any little cat-cow movement that you like, rounding the spine and arching the spine. This is just to kind of enjoy this position. Another go-to position, if you've got a second to take a break and you're feeling like your back is tense, your shoulders and your neck are tense, if you just get yourself here, and especially let that head drop and lengthen out the back of the neck, super, super good. All right. So we're going to sit the hips any amount back towards the heels. So towards your child's pose, just stretching out the quads, the knees for a moment. All right, our next target are those quad muscles. So this is one that is typically tender. And this is one I think I'm going to go ahead and give Malone one layer of padding because I know it's a tough one. All right, so you're going hands and knees. And then pushing through the feet so that the middle of your thigh rests down on that foam. There you go. That's it. And then lowering down onto your forearms. Yeah. And don't start a roll once you jump on here, okay? If you're going to hit a spot that you know is a little bit more tender or aggressive feeling, just place yourself there and relax and breathe. Is that enough padding for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so from here, start a really slow roll, front and back across the length of that muscle. And sometimes what I'll kind of cue people to do to keep it slow so you don't think you've got to do a fast roll is to take a deep breath in as you roll one direction and then a deep breath out as you roll the next direction. That way you can't hold your breath and you keep that roll slow and gentle. Awesome. try 2 more like that. Good. All right, pushing your way backwards so that your knees meet the mat again and coming off that foam. Good.
That one hurts.
That was a harder one. So just remember that was 1 layer of padding for Malone. Maybe next time you should do a 2-layer padding. But
Or skip that one.
or
I'm not supposed to say that.
okay. You're gonna turn around away from the foam and sit down. Okay, so now we're going for the middle back, the shoulder blade area. And I'm gonna start with no padding, but we can always add it, okay? All right, so hands on the sides of the foam just as you ease your way backwards, going for this area as you recline back. Yeah, bending your knees, feet flat on the mat and hands behind the back of the head. Nice. Good. So as you send your head further back, you're going to be looking at the ceiling and your hips float up just off the mat. There you go. You're like a straight line, like a tabletop, your whole upper body and head and hips. Starting a slow roll, a little bit up and a little bit down. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And breathe in. And breathe out. 2 more times. And once more. Good. Come back down. Drop your hips all the way down and just let your head coast back, opening the chest. Deep breaths here. Good. Now drawing your elbows towards each other, spreading out your shoulder blades in back. All right. And then reclining your head back just a little bit. Here's your second location. If you want to roll a second time, you have your shoulder blades open. Same roll, but you're going to get your rhomboids in between your shoulder blades.
You get my shirt. I'm rolling over underneath. I'm rolling over the back of it.
Oh, yeah. Good. 2 more. Deep breath in and out. And in and out. Nice. Relax your hips all the way down and ease your way back up to sitting. Take your time coming. How did that one feel?
Painful, but not bad.
So
The second one was easier.
So
with
with
the
your
shoulders
elbows
in,
closed was easier.
That was easier.
Okay. All right. How much time do we have? There are some groups I'm not tackling today. I'm not tackling the IT band. I'm not tackling the lats today. I don't like doing the triceps with anybody. So what I think I want to do is return to that first positional stretch before we do the neck area. So I'm going to turn this long ways again where hips and back and head are all resting on the bone. Okay, so the first time we did this stretch, we had the blankets positioned. So as he took his arms out to the side, he had that lift. When you return to it a second time, it may be that you don't need those blankets and you're a little more open and relaxed. So give it a try and see how this feels now. 2 more deep breaths right here. Nice. Now we're going to start to coast those arms back overhead like we did the first time around as well. You can hold one hand in the other. Have a little hang time here. Relax the shoulders. Continue those deep breaths. You need that bolster to support your hands? Or are you okay there?
I'm good.
All right. And gently bring those arms all the way back down towards your sides. And we're going to go back to that little sway side to side, noticing how things feel as we return to this the second time.
Why don't you like to do triceps with anyone?
The triceps, your position on the foam is kind of leaning in an awkward way, and your back gets a little tense as you do it. And I don't think the roll is really effective. So I think for stretching out triceps, I would just do something like this and bend. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
Feel any different than the first time?
More relaxed.
Yes. Yeah, good. Excellent. All right, coming to center and just feel your body. Notice all the sensations you can. Really drop into the support of the foam, feet resting into the floor. Good, and we're gonna come off of this gently the same way we did the first time, rolling towards one side. And I'll get that foam out of the way. Nice. Okay, so now we're gonna have the foam behind the back of the head like a little pillow. I am gonna pad this. 1 layer padding. So just for everyone's different, and you're gonna have to play with these different padding or not padding and see how it feels in your body. It may be that you have seasons where you're especially tight, and that those are the seasons you need to make those modifications and give yourself a little more padding. The rule of thumb is if you start to tighten up when you're foam rolling, your quality is not great because you're not relaxing into it and you're not easing those tissues open. All right, so are you pretty comfortable right here?
Not ready for a nap, but yeah, not bad.
Okay, so you want to think of the weight of your head dropping into the foam. And you're going to start turning your head really slowly towards one side. And you don't have to go far. And then back towards center. And then turning it towards the other side. And back to center. And this is just kind of playing around and exploring for yourself. How far do you want to go each side? And how does each side feel? A lot of times you can pick up really great clues about your patterns in your tissues. We often will have one side that we overuse, and so that side of our neck and our upper trap stays tighter. So you don't have to go, once you kind of do your exploration and figure out, okay, how do both sides feel, If you need to focus on one side and just do a halfway turn, easing that head a little bit back and forth to the left or to the right, really let your body guide you, because it's so smart. If we'll just listen to our bodies and kind of create the right atmospheres and environment, it'll tell us what to do.
So for me, I can tell right behind my left ear, right there, is much tighter than on the right side. Whatever that muscle or ligament is.
Yeah, so if you go over to this side
Right
and you
there.
hang out there, what happens if you just relax your head back and breathe right there? And see if you can relax into that space. Couple more deep breaths. And then slowly go back into that roll, staying just that loose.
Yeah, loosen it up.
Good. And you're doing like really big rotation side to side. You don't have to force it, like how far can I go to each side? But you're using a lot of range.
Use it or lose it.
Nice. Okay, come back to center. Again, relax the whole weight of your head. Feel how heavy your head is and let it drop into the foam. Couple of deep breaths right here. Lift up your head just enough for me to ease the foam out and put a blanket behind the back of the head. So here's what people like the best about foam rolling. The Shavasana at the end, where you've got your foam roller, which is a nice round shape like a bolster, but wrap it in a blanket so that it's not tough behind the back of your knees. Slide that underneath, and then relax the back of your knees over that foam. Does it need more padding, or are you okay with that?
Good.
All right, cool. Your work is done. Just breathe and relax. Good, so this is a great time after you have foam rolled and kind of like build this great connection of awareness to all the muscle groups and the connective tissue that envelop all of those muscle groups. Then they're all kind of talking and buzzing, right? And you can listen to that conversation and just build that awareness and build that kind of bond that we're supposed to have with our bodies. So if you're watching and you're relaxing at home, you can stay right there. I'm gonna let Malone stay right here. Let me just give you a little cue about the week to come on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. Some of our regular classes are still gonna be on there this week. So I have Tuesday morning, 10:30 Tai Chi. I have Tuesday night, 6:45, Unwind with Yoga, and we're gonna have Sage back playing live guitar. I'll call him our music man. Thursday morning, foundations at 9 a.m., chair class at 10:30 a.m., Friday at 12, back care class, and 1 week from today, we're gonna go back to our Energize Yoga on Sunday afternoon, and our music man is going to be playing the bongos for Energize Yoga. I'm so excited. So that's it. Let me know what you think in comments or questions that you have. I can always answer them later. Thank you, Grace, for being in the hot seat behind the camera. and have a great Sunday afternoon. See you later.